Once upon a time, an up-and-coming screenwriter by the name of Steve Wilson was busy editing films for the US Navy. One day, he was roaming about the Californian desert, climbing rocks and such, just as you do, when he thought to himself, what if there was something under the ground that prevented me from getting off these rocks? And thus, Land Sharks was born, later to be retitled to what we now know and love as Tremors. Tremors is the kind of movie that, when you look at it on paper, should be really stupid. I mean, a small group of people being hunted by underground worms, that's some B-grade stuff right there. Hell, even the director Ron Underwood and Wilson himself had a really hard time trying to pitch this movie to any of the major movie studios. It wasn't until Gale Ann Hurd, who produced some little-known indie flicks like Aliens and Terminator 1 and 2, stepped in and took the movie to Universal, and they were basically just like, oh hell yeah. And Tremors really was just supposed to be that, a B-grade special effects movie. But if Jaws taught the world anything, it's that with great writing, great characters, and excellent pacing, you can make even the dumbest sounding concept into something great. And that's something Tremors has in spades. So let's dig in. Tremors follows Val and Earl, two handymen living in the hick-ass town of Perfection, Nevada, just doing the same old dead-end jobs, scraping to get by, you know, the usual. I'm going to immediately say that the best thing this movie has going for it is the chemistry between Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward. It's perfect, evidenced by the very first scene of the movie.
Stay up, Brady! Stay up, Brady, Earl! Get out of the way! Get out of the way! You dumb shit.
Also, if you've seen this movie all the way through, then you'll quickly realize that this opening sequence is actually foreshadowing to the end of the movie. Think about it. And it's funny, because apparently when Kevin Bacon was cast in this thing, he had a breakdown and cried to his wife that he just couldn't believe that he was in a movie about underground worms. Again, can you blame him? In most cases, being cast in a B-movie basically means your career as a quote-unquote professional actor is over. But years later, he would go on to say that the process of filming Tremors was the most fun he ever had on set, and he even almost returned to the role of Val in a Tremors series that was never released. By the way, fuck you, sci-fi.
I've been through all this before. They don't plan, they don't strategize, they just kill.
Netflix or Amazon Prime, please pick it up, please. Shit, dude, I'll settle for Shudder at this point. I just want to see this series made. Or at the very least, release the pilot that you guys filmed. I mean, it's already filmed. Just do it. Oh, okay. Enough with that tangent, just on with the review. Other cast standouts include Michael Gross as Burt Gummer, the crazy gun-toting paranoid survivalist war buff who started filming this movie literally the day after he filmed the final episode of Family Ties. I never personally watched Family Ties, but I have a really hard time picturing this man as a sweet father figure. And weirdly enough, Reba in her first acting role. This was long before the days of the Reba sitcom, which of in itself is already a weird concept. Oh, and Mindy, the little girl on the pogo stick, is Ariana Richards, who would go on to star as Lex in Jurassic Park. The graboids are awesome. Throughout the first half hour of the movie, they only show you the tongues of the worms, easing you into thinking this is going to be it, and then BAM! Penis! I'm not going to make any dick jokes in this video because I'll save that for Tremors 3. The graboids are peak 90s practical effects and they look excellent. The design is so simple that in many shots these things actually look real. But am I the only one who thinks the creature's POV is a bit, I don't know, weird? These things don't have eyes, and they're under the ground, so what the hell is this supposed to be? You know, this gives me serious Jaws the Revenge vibes. The POV in that movie's opening didn't make much sense either, like what is the shark's eyes on its fin? When Tremors first released in theaters, it just barely grossed even, making $16 million on its $10 million budget, so while you can call it a moderate success, it really wasn't a smash hit at the time. But as what happens in most of these cases, it's when Tremors dropped on home video that it really started to shine, even going on to become one of the most rented movies of 1990. And that really is a testament to its staying power, because even though it wasn't a smash hit in theaters, there are now 7 movies in the franchise, of which this is the only one that didn't go straight to home video, and the short-lived Tremors series, all of which would continue to star Michael Gross as Burt Gummer. So why is this movie still so popular? Why are there so many sequels, and why are fans still obsessing over it? Because it's just so goddamn entertaining. It's one of the rare instances of a franchise that has continued to be consistently entertaining throughout its entire run, and that is largely thanks to the great writing, lovable and relatable characters, and unique and instantly recognizable monsters we were introduced to in this classic monster romp. So if you haven't seen the original Tremors, you won't regret it. If you haven't seen any movies in this franchise, you won't regret any of them, really. And no one says fuck you like Kevin Bacon does.
We killed it. Fuck yeah!
attention ever since you strolled into the room. So baby, why not tonight? This could be the start of